Hey YouTube, it's Trey again. I figured I'd come back and give you a new video and tell you little things that I guess has been coming up and people are talking about. Well, this particular one happens to be about dating younger women in the Philippines, since I'm here in the Philippines, right? Makes sense. Well, first things first, just my opinion, just thoughts I had, or things I've heard from other people, other expats, and other Filipinas. So let me dive into it. So, dating a younger woman in the Philippines. For some reason, there's been a few, I'll say, that like to talk bad about, I guess, what you would call age gap, and the things that they kind of get mad about people dating younger women. And how do you put this in a way that, first things first, is none of my business, and it's none of anybody else's business. It's only their business. If they choose to do so, that's on them. But maybe we should think a little bit deeper into that. And this is some of the information, some of the things that I found out personally, whether it be from reading, watching other YouTube videos myself, and asking questions. So first things first. Did you guys know there's no divorce in the Philippines? What that means basically is that if someone's separated from their spouse, they're still married. That also means that women over here that are married, technically, they can't technically date. I mean, do they? Yeah, sure. But that comes with a lot of problems and a lot of things that could become potential hazards and issues. Think about this. If there's no such thing as divorce here, and they get married, and they have children, that means you are dating a married woman. So let's say that spouse gets mad, doesn't like you, doesn't want you to be around their children, whatever the case is. That means all they got to do is pick up the phone and call the police. And then the police show up. And then you can be arrested, and so can she, and charged. Because it's a crime here to date someone that is married. And yeah, since there's no divorce, it's pretty difficult. And the only way basically to get a divorce is to get an annulment, which I've heard that it takes 10 years sometimes, maybe more. And you gotta have lots of money. If you don't have no money, you're not getting a divorce. You're just stuck with whoever. All right. So I wrote down a few things here to talk about because of these things. So we already know that even if they're separated, they can call the police and you can get in trouble. So it's not worth dating an older woman, especially if she's married, right? That means it lowers that dating pool down. Not saying there's not older women out there that are, single or widowers or things of that nature. But that marriage pool really cuts it down. All right. So, and it doesn't matter how long they've been separated. All it takes is one person getting angry. So that also means that if the ex doesn't like you or sees that you have stuff or you started a new life, and you're living with this woman, maybe her kids, or they're living with you, that pretty much means that they can come in and stake their claim. It's their house, it's their stuff, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. All they got to do is, you're cheating, charge you with a crime, have you arrested. It's food for thought, but it really does. If you're going to date, obviously you're going to want to date someone either younger or not married, right? So what else do they got? Okay, so, just so you know, now there is a way, just in case she's lying to you, you can do a records request and see if they're married. I'm not really too sure what it's called right off the top of my head, but if anybody actually wants to know, let me know, and I'll put it in a comment somewhere and I'll answer you. Send me a comment. So let's go back to the other side of things. The history and the culture of it, okay? Well, we really need to start with ourselves, okay? Why is it that everyone is so angry about older men dating younger women? Okay, it's actually been pretty common throughout time and history, even in the Western culture. And I will just use some examples. My grandpa was off fighting in World War II. And my grandmother was being born. So there was a huge age gap in between there, and that's in America. All right. Fast forward. It was very common that there was younger women dating older men. It was just very common. I mean, it was nothing to see a 5 or 10 year, and sometimes more, age gap. Men were dating younger women. And fast forward it, guess what? It's okay for women to date younger men. They're called cougars, right? Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot, and they're proud of it. But it's not okay for older men to date younger women. Why? Again, it's not my business. It's none of y'all's business. It's just what they do. And if they want to, for whatever reasons they want to, that's their choice. I'll give you a little story. And I'm not even sure when it all began, this whole age being inappropriate or whatever else it is. Is some of it kind of creepy? Yeah, I'm going to tell you by my own opinions, it is. But again, it's not none of my choice. Now, I dated an older woman. I dated a cougar. I did. I was 25, maybe 24, 25, somewhere around there. She was 35, 36. Great looking woman. She was a good woman. She had kids. She, there was nothing wrong with it. I was okay with it. But you know what? My own family got in my ear. My friends asking questions and got in my ear. And it started to change my mind and my perspective. And it started to eat at me and bother me, which is what I think really happens out there, is that this has gotten out there and that people are getting that sense because so many people tell them it's wrong or it's but we're all forgetting that, it was very socially acceptable and normal that an older man who was successful or had a good job ended up dating a younger girl. And fast forward to the future, older women that are successful or got money or whatever the case is dating younger men, and it's okay. Why aren't we just letting people be people? It's their choice. I mean, you don't have to wake up next to them. So why do you care? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, let's touch on one other thing, okay? Why do the younger women here want to date, older men? Well, it goes back to the same reasons they did in America or in the Western countries. You bring value to their lives. They are. Do you want to date someone who can provide for you, take care of you, fulfill how you see your cultural fits? Or do you want to date the guy who can't pay for, rent, food, or anything else? Still lives in mommy and daddy's basement. I mean, let's just be real. Who do you want to date? The guy that's got his shit together. He may be a little bit older. Or do you want to date the guy who sucks at life and still sucking on mommy's tit? I'm just saying. If I was a girl, I think it's a no-brainer. Guys, we don't care about what the woman, has a great job or anything else like that. Because that's not what we're thinking about. And before you think anything, no, I'm not talking about sex. A man will love a woman unconditionally. But a woman doesn't love a man unconditionally. You got to do something for him. Some way, somehow. Remember, there are 3 things in life that get love unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs. And I don't see myself being a woman, a child, or a dog, so to speak. Now, here's the other thing, guys. Culturally here, it's acceptable to date an older man. Their moms and pops will actually tell them to find an older man that will take care of you, that will love you. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about, Filipino men. Okay? I'm not. But the other thing that I hear, the reasons that they want to date an older man or a foreign Western man, which explains why there's a lot of single women out there with children. They'll come out here and they don't want to be with a Filipino man because they say they're boys, they're not men. Basically, they want sex, and then as soon as they get them pregnant, they run. Sometimes they don't even do that. They just run once they get what they want. I would say that's not true, and in normal cases, I would be like, I don't believe that. But unfortunately, it seems to be said a lot, and I've talked to many Filipinas and Filipinos. It happens pretty regularly. And there's nothing I can say that can prove otherwise, unfortunately. And it's not all of them. Let me be clear. It's not all of them. They're not all bad. In fact, I had a discussion on why it's actually good to date your own culture and your own kind, you have things in common. You like the same types of things because guess what? Filipinos and Filipinas have different likes and different tastes than Western people do, But it doesn't change the end results that they want something more out of life. They want a partner. They want someone who can take care of them, someone that's willing to love them and do all those things, and they don't have to worry about running off. And are there some people over here, Westerners or from other countries, that come over here and do the same thing? Yeah, they do. And it's sad. But unfortunately, there's more good ones than bad ones. So that's a positive note. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about a little bit is, you know, doing a good thing and dating someone, as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, there's nothing wrong with it. If you love someone or you care about someone, it's really important that you understand that there's nothing wrong with that. No matter what anyone says to you, no matter what anyone does, if you love someone and you care about them, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what she looks like. Doesn't matter if she's drop dead gorgeous, a 10, or, she's a 3. Who cares? You know what? To each their own, and everybody likes something different. And when I tell you back home that, back in the Western world, not all Filipinas are gorgeous. I know you hear it. They're drop dead gorgeous. They're all that in a bag of chips, and guess what? Asian women are not my thing. Never been attracted to them, never in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna just be honest with you. I've walked around and saw some really, really not good looking women. And I've seen some beautiful women. But their beauty is only skin deep. Just like back in the Western world, they can be a gorgeous woman and they can open their mouth and be the ugliest, blackest hearted soul in the world. And no matter what, they're never going to be beautiful. And the only thing that anybody wants from them is one thing, and we all know what that is. You want to be happy? Find someone that you care about. Find someone you got something in common. Find someone that makes you smile every single day. If you do that, you'll be happy and nothing else will matter. Look, guys, I just want to touch on the topic because unfortunately there's some mean assholes out there that say really negative things about people. And you know what? There's a reason that Westerners come over here to escape those types of people. When you say the West does not send its love to you, well, there's a reason that nobody wants that love from you. You're the reason they left. You're the very reason. That culture, that mentality. Nobody's perfect. You don't need to put them down. You don't need to say derogatory things. Nobody is perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. There's no perfect people out there. But you know what? There are some better places and some better people. And you treat people the way you want to be treated, that goes a long ways. Look, I'm just saying, if you hadn't figured it out by now, there's a reason they come over here. There's a reason that they want to be here and not back home, where they had their whole lives, where everybody they knew, they met, they worked, they bled, everything. And they come over here and they'll walk away from everything. There's a reason. They don't get treated like they do back there, here. It's not a perfect world over here, and it's not for everybody. But for some, that little bit of peace, it goes a long way, and it'll change you. It'll change your soul. It'll change who you are. It'll change your outlook on life. Look, I'm just putting this out there. Keep sending those messages. Let's talk about it. And if you disagree, it's okay. We can agree to disagree. That's life. And I'll still call you friend, and I'm still going to treat you just like I treat everyone else. All right? Take care, guys. Till next time.